Hello, hello, and welcome back. This is part 3 of our Curious album. And in parts 1 and 2, we created, the covers and the spines, and then we did the bindings. So today we are going to make our base pages. And we're going to make 6 of them. All right, and for each one, you will need one piece of cardstock, excuse me. Oh, goodness. Did I say this was Sunny with creative therapy? I don't know. I just don't know what I'm doing half the time, but we're going to get through it. This is 6.5 by 8.5. This one is 7.5 by 8.5. So you're going to need 6 of these, 6.5, 8.5. You're going to need 6 of these, 7.5, 8.5. You're going to score the larger of the two on the short end, the 7.5 end, at 1/2 inch and 7 inches. All right, but before you connect them to each other, before you combine them, we're going to do some extra stuff. So don't do that quite yet. I'm going to set it aside, and I'm just going to show you the inserts. For our inserts, I have done 4 cut at 6 inches wide by 12 inches, and then I scored it 8 inches. Or maybe I scored it 4 inches, whichever way you want to look at that. But so you've got 4 of them, okay? And like here's your score mark right here. There's your little valley. And I bent it, oops. And you want to put mountainside up, and then you want to fold by going over the mountain. So over the mountain, and burnish, 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 burnish. There's 4 of them. For the other 2, I want you to cut a piece that's 6 by 8, okay, and a piece that's 6 by 6.5. On the smaller piece, on the 6.5 inch side, I want you to score at 6 inches, okay? Then all we're going to do is we are going to take the one that's scored and lay it over top of the one that is not scored, okay? And then we're going to attach it. So grab your glue, put the glue on the inside of the flap, okay? All right, line it back up. Fold it over, press it down. Before you get all good and happy with burnishing, just flip it over, make sure everything's straight. There you go. Open it up so that it doesn't glue together, because that can happen, as you see right there, that glue smushes out. And then you could have had a mess, but we saved it. Woohoo! We saved it, we saved it. So burnish, 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 burnish. So we have 2 different styles of inserts. We have one that's going to create a large flap over top of our page, because the big piece is going to go in the pocket page. This is going to go on top. We have a couple of those, and then we have ones where we're just going to have a small flap on the page. Okay, so now that those are all done, put them aside, and we will focus on our pages, because that was easy. Now, for our pages, remember we had the flat piece and we have the foldy piece. Let's start with our flat pieces. All right, let me get my stuff together. All right, we're going to do 2 versions of the flat piece. We're going to do one version that has a flap at the top, like so. Okay, so for that one, and I'm doing 2 of these. All right, so I've done 2 with the flap at the top. So I cut 2 pieces that are 8.5 long, length of our page, and 4.5 wide. And these are actually scraps from cutting the base pages, so I'm using them for flaps. And then I scored this at 4 inches. Okay, So you've got an 8.5 by 4.5, scored at 4 on the short side, fold it over and burnish. We're going to put it across the long end of our base page that has no scores, and we're going to glue that. Now, these are very simple little differences in our base page sections. It's the combinations, the different combinations, going to make such a unique album, I think. That and the combination of the two different types of inserts. All right, so there we go. Make sure that's straight before we burnish, 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 or straight-ish, as the case may be with some of my stuff. And there we go. Open it and finish burnishing down so we make sure we don't glue the flap down. And if you get a little glue, get your little glue eraser and settle that right now. All right. Now, for the other version of our flat page, so now you can do as many or as little as you want. If you'll recall, our album is actually a double album, and it has 3 base pages on each side. So I am using this as my center page in each album. That's why I've done 2. Okay. For my other 4, I've done them all the same, and I've done them with a long flap. All right, so here it's going to open like so. And I've already done 3 of them. All right, so I'm going to do the last one with you. And for this, you're going to need to cut your pieces. Now, I did 4, so I cut 4 of these. And these are cut at 9 inches. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because our base page is 8.5. So we cut this at 9. And this again was a scrap from where I'd cut other pieces. So it's 4.5 inches wide. All right. So it's 4.5 by 9. Score at 8.5. Burnish it under. Then I just eyeball mine. You know, I never measured a thing in my life. Well, I do measure some things, but not these things. All right. So basically, I just center it top to bottom, okay? I flip it over, glue my flap. Easy peasy, mac and cheesy. Again, you may want to flip it over, make sure everything's straight. Oh goodness, and I'm making a mess with the glue. Had an air bubble. Okay. Make sure that's kind of sort of straight. Open it up to burnish so you don't glue it together. All right, so now, just that easy, we have 2 versions. Well, not just that easy. You know I did some of the pages off camera. But anyway, we have 2 versions of the flat page. Now, you know, this can open this way or this can open this way. It all depends on how you put it in your album, and we'll get into that more later. These are definitely going to be on the top for me. Sometimes I do flaps that open down, but for this album, I want these opening up. So we have half of our base pages done, and we have all of our inserts done. So now let's go to the other portion of our base page, and that's the page that has the folds in it. And of course, these little flaps are so that we can attach, and we'll have a pocket page. And on one end, we're going to attach to our little binding fins. And on the other end, excuse my reach, we're going to have our inserts, okay? And our inserts can have flaps that open to the front, or our inserts can have flaps that open to the back. Okay, I have a couple of versions of this page, surprise, surprise. And those versions are a big flap that covers almost the whole page, Okay, see, there's the part we're going to glue to the base. And then here's our big page. So let's do that. For that, you need to cut a piece that's 6.5, which is the width of our page, by 7.5. Score it at 7. Now, to attach this one, I want these folded under, so I make sure everything's going to clear. So I have those folded under. I'm putting this on the front. Now I mitered the flap on this one, as you can see. And by mitered, I mean I just cut that little edge at an angle. Instead of leaving it straight, I cut it. I cut both ends so that this is going to fit under our attachment flaps without causing any issues. So again, from the front side, line it up, get it straight, push it all the way in, flip it open, open up your side flaps, hold everything down, put your glue on your flap. That's that art glitter glue that bonds everything together for us and holds it forever. All right. It's also a nice cost-effective way of assembling our album. All right, make sure that is straight. So now I did 2 of my pages with the big flap, okay? And then I also did 4 pages. See my glue on the back? It's because it doesn't matter. All right, with the short flap. And these were scraps, and they measured 4.5 inches wide. So I just cut it 6.5 to fit on my page. So here's what this looks like before it's assembled. Again, here's our page, our pocket page piece that has the flaps on it. Here is what we've cut, 4.5 by 6.5. Mitered the corners, and I fold this under first. Okay, fold that under first. Slide this up under. Make sure it's centered top to bottom and that it's straight. Flip it open. Uh-oh, now see, I did that with that over top, so let's make sure everything's still right now that it's where it's supposed to be, which is under. Okay. Fold everything open. Glue it down. Put your pen back in your glue. And fold this over. And make sure it's straight. It's nice and straight. I'm making a mess. Had glue on my finger. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Open this up so you don't glue it down. And burnish, burnish, burnish. Now I've run through this quickly because of my filming issues. I like filming on this new laptop with this new camera, but it doesn't hold very much. The reason I prefer to do it this way is I can upload it straight to YouTube and get it out there to everybody quicker. So if I've rushed, just stop the tape, back it up, and go listen to me, and I apologize. But it's some pretty basic stuff. Well, unless it's your first time, and then it's probably not that basic. So, you know, I do apologize. So we have 4 and 2, right? We have 4 this way, 2 this way. And then we have these 2 different inserts. Now the reason I've done this is because we can combine them so many different ways. We can take this insert and put it in this pocket facing this way. Okay. You could put it under this flap. You could put it over the flap. You could put it to the back side if this was your back side. And you would have it like this. Or, oh, am I off camera? Sorry. You could have it like this. Or you could have it like this. Or if you put it on the one that had the short one, you see, you get a little bit different look this way. And then, of course, you could do this as well. I'm off camera again, sorry. See what I mean? You could, this one is shorter. These are the same length, okay? So this one you're going to get a border on. You could do it either way. Or if you use the insert that has a short flap, this becomes sort of a gatefold with a little space in between. See? So these could do, you know, you could do some funky closure that came in a V that connected with a magnet here. There's just many different ways these are going to be able to be put together. And that's what's going to make it unique and make it you and make it curious. We definitely want curious. The other thing is, and this is what you need to think about before you assemble your pages, okay? This flat option can be the front or the back, okay? And you want to figure out how you want all your pages to sit in your album first, because it's going to, I don't want something to be backwards or something for you. Like if this is going to be your back page, I don't want it opening funky. So you need to decide which is the front and which is the back before you assemble them, because it may need to go with this on this side and it may need to go with this on this side, right? Because if this is your opening where your insert's going, you don't want your insert to open like this. Well, I guess you could, but I think it would make more sense if they opened away from each other. So you just want to be aware, first of all, which is front and which is back. And second of all, how you intend for your insert to go into that page and which insert you're going to be using. You know, because if your insert has a big flap, you might want it different than if your insert has a little flap. I think this one is going to make a nice combination because you're going to have all these different borders. See, this one's going to have a 1/4 inch top and bottom, and then this one has, see, that's going to look kind of cool because you got 3 different layers showing there. See what I mean? So how you combine them makes it as normal or as zany as you want it to be. So go ahead and assemble your pages now. Here's what I know. I know I want one of these on each side. So I'm going to do mine side at a time. All right. I want one of these on each side. I want one short on each, no, 2 short on each side, and 1 long on each side. And I'm talking about these flaps, and I'm getting myself all confused, sorry. All right, let me start this over. All right, well, unfortunately, I timed out, so sorry about that. As I was saying, I was trying to figure out, oh, and I hope you can see. Let me have a peek. I need to go up. Okay, there we go. All right. Let's turn this up. Okay. I was deciding how I wanted to configure my pages. All right, so we have, let's see, which ones are the flat ones and which ones are the bendy ones? These are the bendy ones, flat ones, flat one. Oh no, that's an insert. Whoops. As you can see, it's easy to get these confused. All right, so I want equal things in my 2 albums. So that what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through. All right, so I want, here's my 2 big ones and here are my 4 little. These are inserts. So when I'm just going to separate, I want 1 large flap in each side of my album. That means I'll have 2 small flaps in each side of my album. Okay? So there are my inserts for album 1, my inserts for album 2. Off to the side. For the flat pages, all right, I will want one of these on each side and 2 of these on each side. All right, there we go. And for my foldy side, I will also want one of these and 2 of these. Okay, so let's assemble some pages. So first I have to decide what I want on the front and what I want on the back. It's very complicated, and it might help to look at the papers. So I tell you what, I think I'm going to do this off camera. I'm going to leave this be the end of part 3. Now, I'll cut it here, but then I'll come back and show you how I decided to put mine together, because you don't want to go through my thought process. I don't even want to have to go through my thought process because it's crazy in here. And I'll be back in just a minute to show you what I decided to go with. All right, thanks. All right, I just thought I would pop in and show you how I attach my 2 page pieces. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay. Sorry about the jiggling. All right, that's going to work. Okay. So I like to attach mine with the tape so I don't glue too much and have it squish out and glue my page together, whatever. And so what I do is I take my flat piece and I lay it on the piece where the foldy bits are. And I line it all up. Okay. Now, if it's not exactly perfect, if it's going to be off, like you see how this one's off just a smidge, all right, I want that to be on the part that attaches to the fin. I don't want it to be out here where it'll be noticeable. So I line up to the edge that's going to have the, you know, be out with the insert. And I line up top to bottom. Now, I don't know if you noticed, I already had my tape on my flaps. I do that because I get everything lined up and then I sneak underneath and I remove my tape backing, and that's probably off camera. I hope it wasn't. But anyway, and then I push it down, and then once I have one in place, then I just go do the other side and I reach underneath and I take the tape backing off. And then I just push it down. So here are my 3 pages for one side of my album. First of all, on the first page, I put the side with the foldy bits on the top, and it's the one that had the big flap attached to it. Then I'm going to use the insert that has the small flap, so it goes like so. When you turn the page, between pages 1 and page 2, I have the 2 that go this way, all right, so that they go opposite each other, because I felt like I could do a cool spread that way, right? So that's going to be 1 to 2, and on the second page, see, on my first page, my insert flap goes to the front. On my second page, my insert flap is going to go to the back, because I wanted these 2 to be like this. Okay. So then between pages 2 and pages 3, I have this big flap, so I put it to where the little flap was towards the inside here, you know, towards the inside of my book instead of on the outside. So this can either go, I hope you can see it, this way. I don't know if this one will be on top or that one will be on top, probably that one. Can't be sure until I decide what papers I'm putting on it. So on this one, I wanted this flap. So this is my flat piece with this flap. And then it folds over, and on the back I have the one with the foldy bits. And I haven't decided yet if my insert is going to go towards the back and interact with this other short flap. Okay, which it might. I might come up with something cool to do there, or I might decide to put it this way and incorporate it, you know, with this flap. This one doesn't really matter to me either way, but these mattered to me because I wanted, you know, I wanted this spread right here. So these are just some things you may want to take into consideration when you're deciding how to put your pages together and how to configure them, yada yada, blah blah blah. So these will go now inside the album. You know, we will be attaching them to our fins, our hinge or binding fin. I call them fins. I don't know. Anyway, they will go in there like so. Well, I've got it catching. But anyway, you get the idea. I might have to miter this just a little bit. There we go. All right, so those will be attaching as such to the inside. Oh, now I'm going to get messed up as to how they go. So that was the back page. All right. Oh, and it helps you take your inserts out before you try and attach them. Ha ha ha, I'm such a dork sometimes. Gotta let me, gotta let me. Well, I don't guess you gotta, but... Have I got this all backwards now? That's going to go that way. Right? So then how... I've done something wrong here, folks. I definitely have. Now, see, this is what I was warning you not to do. No, I didn't. It goes that way. Okay. So I'm not crazy. Well, yeah, I am, but in this case, I didn't screw up. All right, so that piece is going to go on this hinge, and it's going to open from page 1 to page 2, just like I wanted. They're going to open. See, I've got it all bass-ackwards now. Because that one, I don't know. I'll get it figured out. Anyway, I'm going to put tape on my fins. And I'm going to do, oops, I just hit the camera, so I probably knocked it crazy. But we're going to do the other side as well, and we'll get those put in. Or, you know, some people decorate their pages before they put them in their book. I may do that. I may just do that. You never know. All right. First page, second page, third page, or, you know, upside down page. All right. I will get it sorted. We will get this assembled, and life will be good. All right. See you in a bit. Hello, hello. Okay, so I decided on how to put my pages together, and I'm putting them in, and I thought you might want to see how I attach my pages. I know I've gone over this in classes, and I think I have in video, but, you know, sometimes I remember things wrong. So I've been told. Anyway, enough of that. I went through and I mitered. You see how I mitered the edges here? All right, so just so the pages sit on a little easier, because they're right at exactly the same size. These are 6.5, our pages are 6.5. So I mitered the corners to make my life a little easier, and yours as well. And I went ahead and put my 1/4 inch tape on each side, and I put it a little bit closer to the top than to the bottom, because these are 1/2 inch wide. I definitely don't want to use 1/2 inch wide tape, because for one thing, I don't know if you can tell here, but my pages don't set all the way down to the fold. And there's a reason for that, and it's because I want them to be easy to turn, and I want them to lay flat, okay? So let me explain to you how I put these on to make it work the way I want it to. First of all, I do not take my tape backing off first, which I believe most people probably do. And I know my way looks more difficult when you look at it. It seems like it'd be harder, but actually once you do it once or twice, it's actually quite a bit easier than trying to keep something from sticking when you're putting it on there, because boy, once that tape is bare, it's bare. So what I do is I put my page on, like as you see. Make sure that this fin is going inside of these foldy bits. Okay, make sure that, you know, nothing's catching and it's all in the right spot. So you got to get down in there and look a little. Okay, then I lay my page all the way to the side. All right, and I make sure that it's not going uphill, it's not going downhill. All right, so I did that a little bit too much to make a point and pulled it off. All right, so I make sure that it's flush with the top and the bottom. Okay, I hold it right where I want it, and as you can see, it's not all the way down. Now, if I were to put it on this way, I could put all the way down. Since I'm laying it over to the side, it is not all the way down on that fin. But that's okay. That's all right. That's why my tape's up just a little bit. I reach in there with a nail. If you don't have a nail, grab a pokey tool or grab an X-Acto blade or whatever, and you just reach in there and pull that off and push everything down. You grab your bone folder and you burnish, burnish, burnish. You turn it the other direction, and again, you just want to make sure that it's laying parallel to the edge and in line with the other pages. In my case, since this is the last one. Sorry, it's hard to get this in frame because I've got this whole thing laying off to the side here. Alright, so I'm not going to be able to put it all the way down flat because I've got things in the way, so that's not laying down flat. But anyway, you get the idea. Get it where you want it. Reach in there with something or other and grab one end of your tape back. There you go. And it tore. Look at that. That's a good example for on camera. Let's show you all the things that can go wrong. There we go. There. Open that flappy-doo up and go in there and burnish, burnish, burnish. Alright, so we have our 3 base pages on this side of the album. I'm going to go ahead and lock this up so that I can just show you this side of the album. Alright, so what we have, here's page 1, and here's going to be the insert for that page. Alright, whether it goes this way or this way doesn't matter at this point because I haven't decided. Alright, so there's our first page. And then here's between 2 and 3. Okay. Then here's page, well, I said 3 and 4. That was between 1 and 2 or 2 and 3, whichever way you want to look at it. Base, if you count base pages, this is 1 and this is 2. If you count pages, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Whichever. But here's what we've got. On this side, we'll have this going on and this going on. And then back here, we'll have something going on. I still haven't decided if I want this way or this way, but I'll be figuring that out in the near future. Some sort of way. So there's the first side. Now we're going to lock it down. And I'm going to go put in the second side. And here's another reason why I decided to do the inserts the way I did. If you had the inserts that you needed a tab on, I wanted these pages to be as long as possible. And our overall width here is 9 inches. So in order to make these 8.5 inches, I didn't want a tab sticking out because I didn't want anything to rub. So that's another reason that I decided to go with the, and besides it just gives you so much more surface room. You know what I mean? Like you can easily get a 4x6 there. And by the way, I don't know if anybody noticed, but these flaps are 4x6. So you can get a 4x6 portrait here if you crop it just a little bit to leave an edge. Okay. You can get you know, you can get landscape or portrait here. I'm trying to create an album here that you can get big pictures in, full-size pictures, not cropped pictures. Of course, you can crop them if you want and get even more on there, but these are big pages. And on some of them, we're gonna break them up, and on others, we're gonna leave it nice and big, so you can just plop a big fat photo down there and just journal around the edges of it if you so desire. So we're gonna have some big spots and some divided up spots as well. All right, so I am going to go put my pages together for the other side. I'm probably going to do them slightly differently. I don't want both sides identical, but I do like some basic page structure the same to give it continuity. Like I said, I don't want everything the same. I think that's boring. I want some surprises. This is a curious album. And so enough the same that it looks like it goes in the same book, and enough different that you don't get tired of, you know, I don't ever want you to know what's coming on the next page as you're flipping through. I still have to design this cover, and we still have to do the back covers. We will get there. We will get there. Right now, today, we are just going to make some base pages, then we'll get some wallpaper on them, and then we'll start in with the fancy schmancy stuff. All right. Last step is to get these 3 pages in, and then I'm cutting for the video. All right, so all of our pages are in. All right, there we go. All the pages are in. I'm going to go ahead, I decided to go ahead and cover that, the back cover for both of them, the shared back cover. I measured, and my gap right there in between those ends are right at 5 7/8. So I cut a sheet of paper 5 7/8. Now I'm going to have to undo both sides. This is going to be a little tricky. Probably should have done this before we put the pages in, but I hadn't made up my mind what I was going to do. Alright, so I'm going to open both sides of the book. And let's see, I'm going to attach this in the center. Okay, let's do this. I wish I didn't have stuff in the way. There, I'm going to have to lay it down sideways just because I've got stuff over there that it butts up against. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to stick down some tape in the center. I'm just going to do kind of a combo here of tape and glue. So let's start with a 1/2 inch bit of tape. Okay. And then I'm going to glue the rest. All right. And I'm going to take this off. And I'm going to just lay this piece of paper across from top to bottom. I'm going to try and semi-center it. It's not real important, and it's just a smidgen short. Y'all see that? That's okay. I was going to put washi tape around the top anyway, so I'm not overly concerned. Okay, there we go. Get that put down really well. Grab all of your pages and flaps together. Alright, now on this side, I'm going to put some tape right up to the edge so it grabs really good on the wraparound bit. Okay, there's that. Come down here and do the same. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and put it right at the edge too. Alright. And then some glue. I'll put glue on the other side. I'm not tearing that very well. Alright, pull the back off of here. And I messed up my tape. I'm probably off camera. Pretty sure y'all get the idea. I'm putting glue on paper, you know. If I'm offline there. And just so I get a good bend in it, I want to slide the bone folder up underneath. And then just wrap that around, sort of like I was wrapping a cover. Okay. Alright. Don't worry too much about these gaps. We got other stuff going over this. I just mainly wanted to get rid of the raw edges. And I didn't want it to have a dip. Like if I put pattern paper over this, I didn't want to have a dip with ridges. So, let's just get this wrapped around here. Stick it down. Not even really worried about that piece in the middle. I guess we could cut a piece and stick in there. Don't know that it's going to be important because we're gonna decorate this kind of like a back cover anyway. So it might have some chipboard pieces, some three-dimensional stuff. I've left a 1/2 inch to the first page, so you know we can do some fun stuff back there. Alright, so there's that. Just kind of finish that up a little bit. And we have, this is the second side of pages that I hadn't shown you yet. This is your insert, and this is our kind of flappy do there. And then on the next page, we're going this way. Oh, we're upside down. I hope we're upside down, or I've put the thing in upside down. Let me see if I can figure this out. Okay, so this is the top side. Oh goodness, did I put it upside down? Drum roll please. No, I didn't. Okay. That would have been fun, wouldn't it? Because see, this page and this page are pretty much the same thing. So I thought I was on the first page when I was actually on the last page. Well, I should have known that because isn't this our back cover? Duh. All right. You know, I designed it and it's still confusing me. So I hope I don't have y'all just totally lost. But anyway, now on our front covers, obviously we're not going to be able to do anything very dimensional because when you're looking at one side of the album, it's laying on the front cover of the other side of the album. So that's one of the reasons why I was putting sparkly stuff on here, and I'm putting ribbon right there, but I'm not going to be putting flowers. I'm not going to be building up flowers because they're going to get ruined when you're looking at the other album. So this is not one that I would recommend any kind of dimensional stuff going on the covers. If you want to do some dimension, you're going to have room here. Because look, we've got over a 1/2 inch right here to the first page, okay? So you've got room for three-dimensional here, and you've got a little bit of room for some dimension on the back, okay? But where you're not going to want to build up is on the front cover, because when you go to look at the other side of the book, boom, whoops, I guess I shouldn't have done that quite so hard. These, I believe, will stay together better once we get things filled in. What I did was, when I put these on, I didn't put them flush together, like scoot this back to where, because I wanted to have a little room in there in case it got a little thick, a little fluffy, a little full of goodness. And once that's full and there's a teeny bit of pressure on there, it'll actually keep it closed better, I believe. Because right now it's just too loose, see, and so it pushes and it, see, look, and it, yeah, I don't know, it just opens kind of easy right now. So I just think the fuller it gets, the better that'll stay closed. I could be wrong. We'll find out as we go. But there's our base pages, and the center is now semi-wrapped here, so we don't have that bare piece. We do have a couple seams right there, but like I said, I intend to put some washi tape in the center, just to, well, because it sticks up higher than the pages. I don't know. I just thought it'd be good with some decoration, and I have some that I thought might be good for that. All right, so that's that. And part 3, we're going to start wallpapering and a couple of other kind of design ideas I had where we have these short, like right here, and it's blank. Oh, no, this isn't a blank when it has that there. Some of them, there. Okay, here's one that's short and then it's blank. I was actually thinking about creating a pocket like so, that comes out, and so you could stick a tag in it or whatever, and then on the back side doing another pocket here, and then this would be a place for a photo with. Anyway, I have some other ideas. So there'll still be some more stuff going on in here. We're by no means, you know, close to the end. We've just got our basic structure down now so that we can start making it more and more curious. So stay tuned as we continue on with our curious album. Compliments of Tamara and the girls over at Country Craft Creation. All right, I'll see you next time. Ciao for now.